Excellent. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Wealth Warriors presentation. It's Sunday, the 12th of April, 2026. My name is Andy Galloway, and we're going to do this evening is, again, it's a little bit different from what we normally do. I don't know if we ever do actually anything that we normally do, because everything is kind of different. The whole industry we're involved with is a bit of a moving feast. So there's always something new and new things to look at. So we're going to look at some different things tonight. Predominantly, we're going to be talking about two different platforms. I'm going to try and get some feedback from the people that are on the presentation about whether we should be including these in Wealth Warriors. If so, what are the risks? If not, why not? And that sort of thing. There's not really going to be due diligence. There's going to be a discussion about the pros and cons, the ifs, buts, and maybes, probing questions, some of which we won't have the answer to, in which case I will then go away and find out the answer before we make a decision. So what's all the fuss about Wealth Warriors? Well, we'll come on to that in just a few seconds. I'm going to do a few slides from a standard presentation before we break into our free fall, if you like. I don't know if it will be a free fall, but everybody's able to unmute themselves and join in the conversation if they want to. You haven't got to. So welcome. Thank you for being here. As you know, I do appreciate you all always. Those of you watching by video, thank you for watching by video. It's a shame you're not here in person, because you could join in this evening. Your input would be invaluable, as I'm sure the input from the guys on the call today will be invaluable. I liken being at a live presentation like being at a concert when your favorite band is there. They're in concert, they produce something miraculous. It's a legendary concert that people are talking about for years and years to come, and you were there and you experienced that, and you get all the emotions and all the feelings, and that'll live with you. That'll be a story you tell for years to come. When you get the CD or the soundtrack at a later stage, if you weren't at the concert, well, it's nice music, it's your favorite band, but it's nowhere near the same as having been in the concert. So I'd encourage you, take the time once in a while at least to come and join us on the actual live presentation. You will get so much more out of it. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for being here, and let's just I'll share my screen and we'll get on to a standard presentation, the first couple of slides of a standard presentation. So here we are, Wealth Warriors, freedom fighters. It's the 12th of April. I've already said that. We are freedom fighters, and I was actually accused a little while ago of being very grandiose, saying that we're financial freedom fighters. However, if you understand what we're doing with the whole process of Wealth Warriors, you will understand that that's exactly what we want. We want financial freedom. We want freedom in our own lives. And it's a rare thing to have. It's not something you will get naturally, or just by doing the things that the powers that be, the financial system, the political system, whatever they want you to do is good for them. You can bet your bottom dollar it's not good for you. What we want for you is what's good for you. And yes, we want you to be part of a team, but we don't want to control you. We want to have your contribution so that we can all benefit from your knowledge and experience and understanding and so on, and you can benefit from being part of the community as well. So together we can achieve more, and there's a truism as well that none of us know as much as all of us, and so your contribution will be valuable. So again, I've said a couple of times we're going to go through a couple of slides here, and let's just see what we're talking about. One is a disclaimer. Nothing in this presentation is given as financial or investment advice. I'm not qualified to do that in a legal sense, a financial sense, or even from my own, my own understanding of what I know and what I can influence. I don't want the responsibility of giving you financial or investment advice. Okay, so please don't take anything I say as advice. Wealth Warriors is not an investment platform. We are a community, and we invite you to join the community and be active and involved in the community. But we do promote online platforms, but we're very fussy about who we get involved with. And to a large extent, that's exactly what this whole meeting today is about. We're deciding whether we're going to get involved with one or other, either or both of two platforms we want to look at. If you do decide to invest in any of the platforms discussed in this presentation or the wealth warriors are involved with generally, only use money you can comfortably afford to lose and carry out your own due diligence. Now, if you don't know how to do due diligence, and I'll just preface that by saying lots of people claim that they do due diligence and they don't. Some people actually do a little bit of due diligence and they claim that they've done due diligence and they haven't, because due diligence is a whole package. You can't just do a little bit of it. You've either done it or you haven't. It's like being pregnant. You can't be a little bit pregnant. You either are or you aren't. Okay. With due diligence, you either do it or you don't. And I produced a video just a few days ago that's available in my channel on YouTube, and you can learn. Even that isn't the full picture of how to do due diligence. It just gives you some pointers, some guidance, some examples of how to do things, talks you through a little bit of how to find out the veracity of what people say on their websites. Okay. But we can expand on that. We can carry on doing that for quite a long time. Typically, if I'm going to do due diligence on a platform, it's going to take me a day. It's going to take me a working day, 8 hours of work to produce a full understanding of the pros and cons, the good and the good, the bad and the ugly about that platform. So if somebody's done their due diligence, and very often people do tell me, get involved in this. And I say, have you done your due diligence? They say, yes. I say, can you send it to me? And then there's silence from the other end of the call or the other end of the discussion, because they don't understand what due diligence is, or they haven't really done it. They just want me to think they have. So we're not falling for that anymore. The reason we carry out due diligence is because we're fed up of falling for things. There's no platform in the world that is that important that if we don't do it, it's going to ruin our lives. However, there are plenty of them that if we do it, it will ruin our lives. So we don't want to I'd rather be out of a platform wishing we were in than in a platform wishing we were out. And we take that very, very seriously. You'll see that with these two platforms we're going to assess tonight. You'll see that. So due diligence, very important, and but only use money you can comfortably afford to lose. If you're looking at a platform and somebody's trying to convince you to put a lot of money in, then you've got to try and figure out why. If you're going to play in this arena, my advice would be, and this is advice, my advice would be to have a nest egg, if you like, a little an amount of money put aside, and you say, right, I want to be involved in 5 different platforms. I've got $50,000, so I can put $10,000 in each one. And if all of those fail, that $50,000 will not cause you a hardship. You won't miss your mortgage payments. You won't miss you won't have to cancel your holiday. You won't have to, avoid paying your tax. It won't make you go bankrupt. Okay. You won't miss your rent payment or not be able to afford to go out for a meal with your wife or your husband. Okay. So that should be your play money. Now, if your play money is $5,000 and you're putting $1,000 into 5 platforms, that's fine. If it's 500 and you put 100 into each of 5 platforms, that's also fine. But don't put so much money in that if something goes wrong, you're going to suffer hardship. It's not that important. Okay, there are plenty of good platforms out there. We're going to find a bunch of them. So if you're not sure, don't don't get involved. Okay, if in doubt, don't. That's also another good watchword, if you like, that I follow quite a lot. If in doubt, don't. Why would you do something you're not sure of? A fool and his money are soon parted. Now, I used to get that wrong. I used to think it was a fool and his money are soon partying, and I had a lot of good parties, I can tell you. But it meant that I didn't have any money either. So we don't want to be doing that. We want to be sure of there's a reasonable possibility that when we do put our money into something, we're going to get back the returns we're expecting. Now, we won't get it right every time, but when we do lose, then we don't lose a lot, and we make it up with the other platforms that are good. So I am a member of a management team for Viralio, but my priority is to wealth warriors. If there's ever a conflict between Viralio and Wealth Warriors wins. They got hold of me to help them with Viralio because of the work I've been doing with Wealth Warriors. They want me to help them with Viralio. Okay, so I wouldn't. There never would be a conflict of interest that would affect what I do with Wealth Warriors. Okay, I've lost my mouse. There we go. So what is the problem? There are too many scams. There are also a lot of businesses that are poorly run. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. And sometimes when a business fails, people accuse it of being a scam. That's just kind of lazy reasoning, if you like. Not all businesses that fail are scams. But it does mean that they weren't set up properly. They were probably set up by somebody who had a good idea, knew how to put a platform together, and had a few $1 million sat in their back pocket on a Trezor device or something like that. And they thought, I can do this, and we can all make some money together. However, it's never ever that simple. If you're going to run a business, you need to know how to run a business. And your high street, the history of the businesses on your high street where you live, tells exactly that story. If you went back over the last 100 years, there are thousands of businesses that came to your high street that aren't there anymore. They weren't scams. Most businesses that fail are not scams, but they were not set up properly. They had the wrong products in the wrong area, at the wrong price point. They didn't have trained staff. They didn't have the right licenses. The government changed the regulations. Just anything can happen, and all of a sudden businesses are going bust. They're not bad. They're not bad people. It's just not a reliable business. And so wherever we can, we want to spot that. Scams are a bit easier to spot because things just don't add up. If you're trying to follow through the logic, the process is A, B, C, and then all of a sudden over here it's F, G, H, and you go, how did you get there? What's happening in the middle here? Oh, well, that's just, words and fluff and nonsense. You say, well, if I can't see it, it's not happening. I don't believe a word you're saying. Okay. And so that's how you know it's a scam, because you just can't join the dots. And people, they talk fast, and also they convince you with promises of big money, fast money, future benefits, and big shiny things. I call it the shiny things syndrome. And we fall for it if we aren't prepared. If we think that that's what we've got to choose, we've got to choose between 5 different shiny things, and we choose one of them. But that's not the answer. We can choose not to get involved in any of those. Just stay away. Just wait for something good. We're not in a tearing hurry to get this done. It's going to take us a while. That's the other thing that you get promised. You develop this fear of missing out. If you don't get in now, if you don't get first mover advantage, if you don't get this founder's bonus, if you don't get in before Tuesday, if you don't buy this by the end of April, okay, all those things. I'm starting to go, well, okay, if you're trying to get me to make a decision based on that, it's not going to happen. I'm out of here, and I'd rather be out wishing I was in than in wishing I was out. So all those extra pressures to do something and do it now don't work with me, and they shouldn't work with you. And if you stick with Wealth Warriors, then that's the sort of thing we'll avoid. Again, lots of people ask me to check out platforms. They want me to join now. Not a chance. If it's a good platform, it will be there in 6 months. It'll be there in 3 months. We don't have to get in right now. Okay, we're talking about financial freedom. So we will repeat the mistakes of the past, and we will help us collectively. We can help us avoid the pitfalls of the industry. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and switch over to, in fact, I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to get my browser up, and we'll have a look at one of these platforms. Okay, what I could have done earlier, I guess, is put the the URL of the platforms we're going to look at, so I need to try and find them. One of them is called JetUp. This is where I go into panic mode, try to remember where I was invited to look at JetUp while I'm on live, and because I don't want to waste your time. No, that's not it. Might be there. And in fact, I might. No, I'd like to maintain his anonymity. Otherwise, I would share this line of discussion in WhatsApp where somebody's trying to convince me to get involved in JetUp, and get in now. So we can meet the CEO. JetUp, your clear entry. There we go. So that should come up on the screen for you any second now. So jetup.ai, jet-up.ai. Feel free to go there, check it out yourself. It's one of these platforms. Okay, so there's trading and strategies, partner program and income, Dennis Fast Start promo. Now this is the one that they were trying to seduce me with. Now I haven't signed up. It looks like I've got to sign up in order to join the promo. And I haven't got a CU number, have I? Not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what a CU number is. Do your tag balance received? So this is the special offer. Let me make this a bit bigger. Special offer for new partners. Deposit 100 USD or more into your tag balance and receive an additional 100 USD bonus as part of the Dennis Fast Start promo with the 24x amplify model. A total of 200 USD is to use to create a 4,800 USD MT5 account connected to the Sonic strategy. That all sounds really good, doesn't it? So what do we get from this? This is saying that we join JetUp, and we can also, once we're in JetUp, we can join TAG. Now, TAG, as I understand it, are a group of traders. I think somebody told me there's 800,000 users making a living from trades in the TAG system. So it's kind of, I'd guess, and it's a kind of a copy trading system. It looks like it's in Forex because it's on MT5. MT5 does deal with a few cryptocurrencies, but not enough to justify being a cryptocurrency trading platform. So it's likely to be Forex. And so my first question then has got to be, why would somebody want to give me, if I put $100 in, why would they want to give me an extra $100? Where's that money coming from? Okay. And you could say, well, it's this guy, Dennis. Dennis wants to give me $100 because that'll kind of get me to join now. I'll put my money in and he'll make some money off of my trading. That's the way copy trading works. Typically, if they help me make $100, they'll take 30, 35, 40, maybe even $50 of the $100 profit that I made. That's how copy trading works. You agree to all that before you sign up for it. Of course, there's nothing in what I've read so far that tells me that's what they're going to do. So it's kind of if that's what they do, then they're being a little bit underhand by not saying it up front. However, there is a clue here, and that is that they're going to give me a leverage of 24. A leverage of 24 is kind of strange. Normally in Forex, you're looking at a leverage of 20, 50, maybe 100. I've had accounts, Forex accounts with a leverage of 1,000, and I know some people have had a lot more than that. So what that means is that if you put $100 in, you've got $1,000 working for you. So you can place a trade worth $1,000, and it's only going to cost you $1. But you have the potential to make $1,000. The bad news is that you can lose a lot of money because it's because the leverage works the other way as well. So with the 24x, I'm guessing that what happens is they actually get a lot more leverage on the trading, and I only get 24x. So they maybe get 50 and I get 24. So therefore they're already making money on my trades. So important rules, let's have a look at the important rules. This is only available to new partners, and you need a minimum balance of 100 USD. Each partner can participate once only. That kind of indicates that they're not just creating new money to do this. That's that extra $100 is actually coming out of somebody's pocket and they're giving it to me. Otherwise, they would say, well, you can join in as many times as you like. Your original money can be withdrawn after 30 days. And then if the original is withdrawn before 12 months, the account will be liquidated and the promotion will end. Okay. Okay, so what does that mean? So you can withdraw after 30 days, but if you do, that's the end of the road. I'm not sure if that's what they're trying to say. It looks like it, but I'd need to study it a bit more. The promotional $100 USD, 100 USD can only be withdrawn after 12 months. Okay, so if I put $100 in, they give me $100 and it trades and it doesn't make any money at all. At the end of the 12 months, I can withdraw $200. Of course, if they are trading on 24x, and they make reasonable profit, then that $100 I put in would be negligible compared to the profit that I'd be making. Profits can be withdrawn at any time, so that's interesting. How do they keep the profits separate? This is something I would want to check. How do they keep the profits separate from my money, my deposit, and their deposit? Because in most brokerage accounts, it all goes into one pot. Also, I learned a very long time ago, don't accept these promotional bonuses, because it means your money is tied up in strange ways. But let's keep going. So I'm assuming then I would get a CU number after I've joined JetUp. I can come and add my details here to become part of this tag promotion. Okay, and we have a live consultant. Live consultants will be so much more talkative than dead ones, so that's good. And we can talk in English or German or Russian. Kind of indicates it's probably not AI driven, because AI driven you could have 130 different languages without too much difficulty. What else have we got? So then there's promotions. We could look at the promotion in a bit more detail. The new promotion in IB portal, introducing broker. That's the person who, when you're introduced to a copy trading system and you're going to follow this person, they're going to be the one placing the trades for you. They're the one that you're going to pay some of your profit to. They're called an IB, an introducing broker. So there's a new promo in the IB portal. So within this setup, whichever broker we're using, they will have an IB portal. We've launched, and this guy Dennis will probably be the IB that we're signing up to. We've launched a new opportunity to directly boost team performance. For every 2,500 invested, you will receive one share. The number of shares is unlimited. And then there's additional rewards if you put 50,000 in or 200,000, and increasing further with higher volume. Okay, that's very exciting. Not that we're going to do it. You receive one share for each direct partner once they deposit $10,000, regardless of any additional deposits beyond that. Payouts are scheduled for the end of April. The pool is formed from the 5% performance fee that the trader normally retains. So the trader is only going to retain 5%, but it's not going to go to the trader. It's going to go into this pool. And the pool is only to pay out on these shares. Okay, I've got it. It's logged in my brain. I'm not quite sure why they're doing it, but that should hopefully all become clear before we go much further. So this is an additional lever to increase income through your volume and activity and use the momentum to scale your results. In other words, let's get more people in. What else can we find? Upcoming webinars. Not really interested in upcoming webinars. Video library. Okay, we have some webinar recordings on YouTube. Profit share. A profit share video. Not sure how long that is. We might watch that in a minute. The promo, earn more from your existing investments. They're telling us all about the promo again. And there's a video about the promo. The fast start promo. I'm assuming that's Dennis. A partner program overview. So it looks like there's some good information there for us to look at. There's presentations and downloadable materials. It's not loading. Yes, it is. So large number. Oh, this is all stored on a Google Drive, which is good because it means everybody in the world probably has got access to this, and you can just download these and share them with people. In fact, they're probably the same presentation in lots of different languages. Okay, so that's useful to know. Instructions, step by step on how to start. And again, we're still on the Google Drive, English. Again, it looks like that's a video. So we can download it, rename it, share it, and save as one of our favorites. So we're not going to do that either. And then here we can join Telegram, Instagram, YouTube to keep up to date with the information. So we didn't get into the trading and strategies. So we have a tagged markets broker, a regulated multi-asset brokerage solution with MT5. So they're regulated, which is good. You've got to be regulated if you're going to do this copy trading type stuff. Copy X strategies, automated copy trading. Sorry, let's just have a little look at this a bit more. Yeah, so they've got all the, so it looks as though that bit of it at least is legitimate. Copy X strategies, automatically copy professional strategies. You keep 70% of the profit. Okay, that's not bad. 30% to the introducing broker is not bad. And no doubt they're giving out some of the money that they get to some sort of incentive for people bringing people in, like we said just now, the shares. Transparent performance data for each strategy. Well, if it's in MT5, yes, there will be a record in your MT5 that you can check every single trade that was ever made in your name. You can deactivate it at any time. That's exactly how copy trading and MT5 works. Your funds stay in your account. Okay, now I'm going to reserve judgment on that because I don't know which broker they're using. I have some brokers myself that I trust. Very often people will present things to me where they want me to put money, give money to another broker, and they say, your money stays safe in your account. Well, I don't know. Has there ever been a broker go bust? Yes, absolutely. Has there ever been an exchange go bust? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I can't say that it's secure just because it's in my own exchange account or my own broker's account. Okay, so I'll reserve judgment on whether my funds are safe in that account. It says your funds stay in your account, so that's probably true. Whether they're safe there or not. Okay, so do you see the way my brain is working is I'm looking for what they haven't said. They haven't said my money's safe. They've just said they stay in my money stays in my account. Now, risk management, the risk management policy or procedure process is that they are conservative. Maximum 10% drawdown, 0.3% risk per trade. Now that's good. 0.3% is quite low. 10% drawdown, that means that you can have 30 different trades on the go at any one time before you hit that 10% limit. And 0.3% risk per trade. So if you were to put $1,000 into this, you would have, you get well, let's suppose you put the $100 in, you get an extra $100, you got $200. Then you get 24x multiplier on that is 4,800. So 0.3% of 4,800. Let's get a calculator up and have a look. I don't know if you'll be able to see the calculator if I put it over the top of the. I don't think you will, but I'll do it anyway. So it's 4,800 times 0.3% equals. So you'll only be risking $14 per trade, most of which isn't your money, okay, because you only put $100 in. So yeah, you'll be again, and let me just check, do some numbers again. So you put $100 in, 0.3% of $100. I should know that. You're risking 30 cents per trade, and $14 is being placed on each trade on your behalf. Now, if they have a reasonable win to loss ratio, something like 65% or better, 70% even better, then that's pretty good. Okay, then that could work. So, you know, it's beginning to look like what they're telling us is enticing. It's really a case of, where does our money reside? Does it stay, you know, are we going to put it in our own trusted broker's account and everything linked up through MT5, in which case that's pretty good? Or do we have to use their broker? Do we have to use their exchange? They've already told us that we're going to pay them 70% of our profit. Vortex strategy coming soon. Amplified 12x, so scale your own capital up to 12x. So we've already got an offer on the table of 24x. So what I'm thinking this means is that for a short period of time, we can all get in for 24x. But when that promotion's finished and we're bringing other people in, they'll get 12x. Is that still a good deal? Is this proposition going to be attractive to the people we are going to bring in next month, 3 months' time, 6 months' time? And I think 12x isn't brilliant, but it's also not bad. It's better than not having 12x. It's also important to know this 24x or 12x. What does that do with the leverage on the trade in MT5? Are we still getting the 1,000 times or the 10,000 times or 100 times leverage within the trading system, as well as what we're getting here for the 24x? You trade on the real market. That'll be interesting to see if that's true. All profits belong to you. Withdrawals available at any time. No credit, no bonuses, no third parties, full control. Quick start in 5 steps, and trading and tag markets FAQ. Now, tag is this group of 800,000. Is it 800,000 users? So I don't know how many people they have placing the trades, but it's a large community. Now, something else that's a little bit of a concern when people say it is they say, join our community of, you know, we've got a community of 50,000 people. Well, how does that affect me? Well, why is that a benefit to me? Well, it isn't. You know, it just means there are lots of other suckers falling for the same thing you're falling for. So again, just look out for what people say. How much do I need to invest? Minimum of $100. Now that meets our criteria as wealth warriors. We want people to be able to get in for $100 or thereabouts. Can people join for free and introduce people? That's a good question. We want that to be, we want people to be able to do that. But I think most people, most wealth warriors will be able to come in with $100 because that's what our criteria is. Got to be able to get in for $100. If you want to be a partner, then $250. Some people will want to do that. Conservative maximum 0.3% per trade, maximum 10% drawdown. Drawdown just means that's your risk, that's your exposure. If everything goes horribly wrong with all the trades you've got in play, the most you can lose is 10%. So that's what drawdown means. So there are no guarantees. I like that, but the risk is controlled. How much can I earn? 2 to 5% per month. So 2 to 5% will be on the 2,400, not on your $100, I believe. Again, we need clarification on that. So if we, sorry, not 2,400, is it? 4,800 times, let's say it's 3.5%. That's the average. Okay, so that's about $170. You can expect between 96 and $240 per month, between 2 and 5%. 96, 2% is 96, 5% is $240 per month, based on having $100 in the pot. Now, if that's true, if I've surmised this correctly, then that's actually a good deal. You know, $100 in, and say $200 a month out. Even if it's $100 a month out, then that's a good deal. However, if it's $2 to $5 per month, then not so enticing. How much can I earn? So the other question we would need to find out is that after our 70% has been, sorry, is that our 70%, or do we earn between 2 and 5%? Then we only keep 70% of that. So webinars, schedule and video library, and then back to Hub. So what I'm thinking is that this really requires considerable, it's not something I'm going to dismiss at this stage. I've got a number of questions, so I'm thinking it's worth looking into. A lot of businesses by now have said, don't believe a word of it, or even if it is all true, I don't like it, we're not doing it. But I'm beginning to think this is actually worth taking a bit more of a look into, which means that I'll start watching videos, I'll start going on Zoom calls, talking to some of these people that are messaging me, get answers to my questions. And in the next few days, maybe by the middle of next week, we'll have an answer of what do we think of this, yes or no. And what I'd like you guys to do, either watching on the video or here in person, is to do the same thing. Go to the site and like I have, go through it, watch some videos, because if we all watch the same videos, then we can have a discussion about it, and you will see things that I don't. Good things and bad. You'll say, well, I like this, but I'm concerned about that. And I think, well, I didn't even notice that, So that's how collectively we can avoid pitfalls, because none of us are as smart as all of us. So if you want to do that, on behalf of Wealth Warriors and on behalf of our continued journey together towards financial freedom, then your help will be greatly appreciated. And so I'm going to carry out a full set of due diligence on this platform, and I'll write it up, and you'll be able to read what I've written, what I think of it, and get the answer to my questions. So I was reading the word commissions and ended up saying commissions. So lock commissions, so that's an extra thing. A partner toolkit, education and knowledge, community support, AI tools. You get a personalized digital hub with your own AI consultant, a smart tool for your team and clients. Lot commissions, so a lot, I'm not going to explain a lot, but it's a unit of currency pairs. Okay, so when you make a trade, however much you put onto a trade, then that's a proportion of a lot. And so it adds up. And so for every lot traded in your whole team, you get $10.50. And it's entirely possible, if this were to work, and you build up teams of people who over the years build up large trading pools, then this $10.50 could be, you could have several hundred lots being traded in your team every single day. So this could be a significant amount of money if you have a large enough team and they have a large enough trading fund. So up to 10 levels deep. So we've not seen anything about that yet. So we need to keep that in the back of our minds as well. Is this just the lot commissions up to 10 levels deep? So it's not every lot traded in your team down to infinity. It's just the first 10 levels, which can be good. 10 levels deep. If everybody's got a significant amount of width, that can be a lot of people. It can be a lot of trading fund, and it can be a lot of lots. A lot of lots being traded every day. So it's not down to infinity. It's not your entire team. It's just 10 levels deep. And commissions are based on trading volume, not on deposits. So if it's 10 levels deep, let's suppose everybody in your team is earning these lot commissions. Then for a lot traded below you on, say, level 10, 9 people above them could be earning $10.50 for that trade. So how do they make $90 per lot? I guess it depends which currency pairs they're trading. $90, not a huge amount if you're trading a significant pair. So they'd probably stay away from the small, obscure pairs, the Singapore dollar against the zloty or something like that. But yeah, significant pairs. Okay, so that can work. That's not a huge amount of money for them to find in order to pay us. I'd need to see that they are actually doing that, or their mechanism for doing that. So I've now got a checklist in my head of about half a dozen things that I'll write down shortly, things that I want to check when I dive into this. Up to 10 levels deep, yes, okay, all commissions are based on real trading volume, not on deposits. By the way, if anything I've said either doesn't make sense to you or you think I've got it wrong, love to hear. I'm not professing to be right when I'm doing this. I'm going through this, and there is an added pressure. I realize that you guys are watching. I realize it's going on a video. So there's an added pressure. I'm not necessarily focused entirely on what I'm looking at here. Team profit share. Let's see how the team profit share works. So you receive a share of your team's real trading results. So how big is the team? Is it down to infinity, or is it just those 10 levels? They haven't said. So I'm going to assume that it's on 10 levels. If not, I'll be pleasantly surprised. So you receive a share of your team's real trading results. So distribution, 70% goes to the client. So assume this is you as the client, you receive 70%, the other 30% goes to the traders and the partner program structure. Okay, I like that. So the traders are making some money, which they have to. This is their business. They're doing this so that they can make money. Let's not shy away from that. And somebody somewhere has got to fund the partner program. So this is quite transparent. 30% of our profits, some of it goes towards the partner program. I like that. I don't like to find out later that the money's coming from us and we didn't realize, or there's no money coming out from the partner program and the whole thing doesn't really work. Okay, so if you can't see this right from the start, you've got to question why. And payouts are based on real profits, not on promises. Again, I like that. You can't say, well, you're going to get 1% a day or 2% a day. Who knows what the trading is going to do? Who knows what the market's going to do? So I'm liking this for those reasons. Infinity bonus. Let's have a look at the infinity bonus. Additional bonus percentage where certain team volume thresholds are reached. So this is all in euros. So 1 minute we're in USD. So we're running our accounts in USD, but in the background, this is all being run on euros. So additional bonus percentage when certain team volume thresholds are reached. Certain team volume thresholds. So that's not based on profit. That's based on how much your team has as their trading funds. So there's something to look out for with that. And that is, let's suppose you have 100 people in your team and they all have $1,000, €1,000 in their funds. Okay, that gives you 100,000 volume, so you get 1%. The next day, one of those team make a withdrawal of €500. So today you don't qualify for that 1% because your team hasn't hit €100,000. It's much more likely you won't have a team that's just on the threshold there. It'll be €127,000, and so somebody withdrawing some doesn't affect anything. But just to be aware that it can go down as well as up. And if people do withdraw a significant amount of money, then you get 1% on a smaller volume. So again, your money can go down as well as up. Just something to be aware of. 2% from 300,000 volume and 3% from 1 million volume. And up to 5% plus with team volume from 100,000 to 20 million. 100,000. Up to 5% with team volume from 100,000 to 20 million. That makes no sense to me. And I'll tell you why, is because the first 900,000 of this bracket here is already covered with this 3%. So is that going to be an additional 5%? So anything from 100,000 to 1 million, you receive 3% plus 5%, but over 1 million, up to 20 million, you only get the 5%. So either badly written, badly thought out, or just not explained properly. And notice again, we've gone from euros here to dollars there. Now, I'm beginning to think this is a mistake. I think they should have all been in dollars. And this presentation is being produced from something else. And they left the euros in there. Not a massive difference between euros and dollars, but it's just confusing which currency we're keeping track of. So there's some questions about the infinity bonus. Global pools, sorry, but the bottom line is, I believe that 1% on 100,000 volume, that's sustainable. I don't think that's a huge amount to, particularly because we're only getting this 25 times multiplier. And I think the whole system is going to be earning a lot of money just because we've been throttled back to 24x, and what's actually happening on the account is a lot more than 24x. It'll be 100x or maybe even 1,000x. But again, that's something I'll be looking at. Global pools, 2 pools of 1% of company profits each. So of the 30%, and the share of the 30% that goes to the company are paying 2 pools of 1%. So they're giving us back 2%. And then we get some lifestyle rewards. Rolex watch, real estate certificates up to 1.2 million, and exclusive trips. Okay, I'd rather have the money personally, but okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to open that presentation. I realized there was a PDF document. There's a PDF partner presentation that I will go through with a fine-tooth comb. And then we've got webinars and schedule. So that's JetUp and the offering from TAG. There's a lot of stuff for me to go through there to carry out due diligence now. However, my thoughts are, let's go back to the room. My thoughts are that this platform bears checking out. So I don't know what you guys think. I think it's worth me spending a day going through everything, watching some videos, talking to some people, produce a little spreadsheet maybe, find out the answers to all my questions, and then we can make a decision. And if you have feedback for me before that point, I'd love to have your input as to whether this is worth having a go at or not. Bear in mind, our exposure is only going to be $100 to get started. I think we should all get in at that level rather than rather than getting all excited and say, well, let's put you know, a lot more money in. You can always add more money later. But I think if this pans out, if everything they're telling us is true, and they have been quite transparent on quite a lot of things, so I like that. But if it turns out to be true, I think this will be a good addition to our platform, so to our portfolio. Sean, I think you can unmute yourself, my friend. Come and say hi.
Hey Andy, great presentation so far. I think for me, in the past, I've learned with Forex, if I don't see a live MyFX book account, no deal.
Yep, absolutely.
I think that would be the first thing to look at for them. See what they're trading, how they're trading, and all that good stuff. And if that's not, they say no to that, and I say no to this.
Yeah, of course. No, you've got to be able to see the before. The whole thing is based on trading.
Yeah.
And trading very often is the area where if somebody's going to hide something, that's where they hide it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, if there's no trading, then they're just paying out existing people with money from new people, which we're not keen on.
No, I think I've learned with a couple other partners and platforms that, hey man, unless you see that at MyFX book live, no dice.
Yeah, of course. If they've got 800,000 people earning money from this, then I'm pretty sure they will have my FX book.
Yeah, yeah. They say, nah, can't show that to you. Well, can't have my money then.
No, that's right. There are a few things that are a showstopper, and that's, you know, anybody who claims to be making money trading Forex, and that's it. They've got to have the my FX book
Yeah, yeah,
on the go.
yeah.
Good point. I'll add that to my mental checklist.
Good stuff so far, though. I like it.
Okay, well, I think we're not going to be able to get the second platform done in the same sort of way. So what we might do is reserve that for Wednesday. But I wouldn't mind hearing from a few more people. That's all. That's a great thought there, Sean. Thanks for that. I wouldn't mind hearing from a few more people what you liked, what you didn't like, danger areas. You know, whether even if this checks out, you're not going to do it, or even if we don't adopt it, you are going to do it. You know, just whatever thoughts you've got, I'd really appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I like the fact that you know you can put $100 in for a punt. You know, it's a small amount. It's not the end of the world if it does go Pete Tong. Um, there's quite a lot of information about it as well for you to go through.
Yes. No, for
Uh,
us to go through, all of us to
yes,
go
yes.
through, not
Sorry,
just the...
that's yes. Yeah. Well, I've gone through a few videos as well, and
Yeah.
I spoke to the CEO of the company and everything.
Okay.
Um,
What's he like?
he's very transparent. He's German, the
Okay.
CEO of Tag Markets,
Yeah.
German. They've started off in Colombia and Asia. That's where they're big. They're very little in Europe, very little. Um, but he started at 19, made his first million at 20. And I think he's got 36 million in it or something like that. That's the guy from Tag Markets. And the top guy from JetUp was on there as well, and he was quite open about answering any questions, sort of thing. So I sent you that video,
Yes.
and it's a good, you know, it's a good read.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so
Um,
what's your, I know we're not sort of going to make a decision right now, but what's your thoughts? Do you think it sounds good, or do you think,
yeah, it does sound good. Um, I just like the fact that how much do like I've seen more in 45 minutes on due diligence on this than I did on the last video, that last chat I went in with someone else to have a little sneaky look at it. And to be honest with you, you've answered most of the questions that the CEOs and everybody uh, come up with on there.
yeah.
You've done it yourself, sort of thing. Um,
Well, when I deal with companies, I always deal at the CEO level. managing director, that sort of level, because that's where my knowledge and understanding is from what I used to do.
I was a little bit concerned about the Trustpilot stuff on tag markets, but a lot of it was early days, and he brought that up actually, and he said they've been going 2.5 years, and the first year and a half was a nightmare. He actually said himself, and
Yeah.
they turned it round in the last year, sort of thing. So, yeah, they seem, quite up for discussions, etc. So, which is always a good thing. And it's $100 for a punt. I wouldn't be putting a lot more than that in, if I'm honest, to start with. And if it does work out that about 2% a day, like the figures work out, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to know if that's 2% on the trading fund or 2% on what our $100.
Well,
They're not
I've
made
got a
that
friend
clear.
I got a friend who's in it, and he's been in it for about 5 days, and he's been having about 2% a day profit on his $200. So he's made
Right.
$4 a day.
Okay.
So up and down, $3 here, a little bit more,
Yeah.
but and they don't work on a Saturday and Sunday.
No, Forex market switches off at 10 o'clock UK time on a Friday, doesn't it?
I didn't know that. Didn't know that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The last exchange is it Chicago or San
haven't got a
Francisco?
clue.
San Francisco exchange, I think, is the last one. And
Hmm.
the first one then is Sydney on a Monday morning, which is on Sunday evening for us by 10 o'clock.
Hmm.
So they say it's 4.5 days, 5.5 days Forex trading. Okay, yeah, thanks for that feedback, Mike.
No problem.
And thanks for the information you sent me. That's gonna be useful.
Yeah, I'm still undercover on this, so think anything else.
And in general, thanks for your support on Wealth Warrior stuff. It's good to have you on the team.
Well, I've been in other systems and what have you, and you do a lot more due diligence on you, so it kind of coming from the scam that I come from, which was bad. I'm quite happy just to put a bit in here, a bit in there, and try and build a little team up then. So which
Yeah,
I'm trying to do. So
yeah.
thanks for all your help. I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. I mean, that's really what we're trying to do. Is regardless of the platforms, we're trying to get our confidence that we can bring a few people in who have the
Mm,
confidence to bring a few people in, and that way, the whole thing can roll on as a community. Because we will always find platforms that work and allow us to make money. That's always going to be the case, and but it's a community that is the most important thing. So thanks for that, Mike.
no problem.
Sean, have you done my 1,000 steps yet?
Way over 1,000, not like 2.5 miles.
Yeah, but have you done my 1,000?
No, you got to do your own.
No, that's not the deal.
Um,
The deal is I do the talking, you do the walking.
all right, all right. You don't get healthy by just sitting there talking.
I've got healthy jaws, so
Okay, all right.
okay.
I was thinking as you're talking, thinking back to Bid Harvest and stuff like that. For all these platforms we're looking at, I'd like to know, is the withdrawal automated versus Bid Harvest?
If
So
this
that
is Sorry, if this is the way I think it is, because I worked with MT4 and MT5 for a number of years, basically you have a broker's account set
right,
up
right,
through and connected to your MT5. So
right.
you choose, and I'm hoping this is right, is that you choose the broker you trust. And so it's between you and the broker making deposits and withdrawals. And they'll allow you to withdraw back to, if you put money in on a credit card or a debit card, when you withdraw, they'll want it to go back to where the money came from. Once
That's
they've
right.
fulfilled that obligation, then you can send it wherever you like, a bank account or whatever.
I've
Yeah.
seen that happen, actually. My friend, he withdrew money on his card, but then there's also a crypto version as well, so you can actually withdraw it on crypto as well.
Yeah.
And Sonic is the broker that they use.
Is it? Okay, so you can't use your own broker.
No, it's the promotion is through Sonic.
Okay.
And
Okay, so I need to check out Sonic as well.
That's the
Dennis
question.
is one of the two partners in JetUp.
Is that
Okay.
a US that allowed in the US? Because a lot of the US has those rules like first in, first out.
Yeah.
So that would be another question: is US allowable? And then the other question I had was on the
Sorry,
withdrawal.
Sean, just to interrupt you there, bear in mind
Yeah.
that one of the things I'll be checking out as I do my due diligence is that it's available everywhere in the world. So
Right.
if Sonic isn't available in the US, then that's a no-go as well. So
Right. And so for the withdrawal, I know it said you could withdraw profits at any time, but is there a minimum to withdraw?
again, that'll be between you and the broker, but there probably will be a minimum of $30, something like that.
$10.
$10. Okay.
Cool.
But also you can't withdraw money that's already tied up in trades.
Right.
Yeah, fairly obvious, but
Right.
worth
Okay,
mentioning.
cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Chet, hi, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good.
Did you get that video? I sent you the link.
Yes, I just found out today. Thank you very much
Excellent.
for doing it. And I'll shoot it over to Terry. Now, regarding this platform that we're looking at is basically a trading platform. Is that the only platform we have a trading platform we have right now on Wealth Warriors? On our
It's the only
agenda?
Forex trading platform we're looking at. I've looked at quite a few Forex trading platforms since Christmas, and pretty much all of them weren't suitable. This is the only one I've looked at now that I'm thinking it's worth us looking into and carrying out proper due diligence. So we don't, as you know, with Wealth Warriors, we don't like to have two platforms in the same space, simply because if something goes horribly wrong with Forex trading and we've got several platforms, then we would lose money in several platforms. Whereas if we have one in arbitrage, one in Forex trading, one in crypto trading, one in real estate, and so on and so forth, then it's proper diversification in the sense that these things don't affect each other generally.
So in other words, since this platform is more organic than others, which what I mean by that is they're trading between Monday and Friday.
Yes.
Does that mean there's human involvement here?
I would have thought so. Copy trading normally involves having people placing the trades, but there's no reason why it couldn't be set up with AI or even an expert advisor. If everything's done through MT5, then they could write a little robot and set it running in their MT5, and all of our accounts would follow whatever. So yeah, there's no reason why it has to be human involvement. I just get the feeling it is. But we'll find out. We'll find out.
Okay. Since I've never been involved with Forex, but is there a sort of a boilerplate explanation of Forex bottom line or template? In other words, what the volume is. Like in some cases, we have volume, we have award amount on the token, all that stuff. Is there a template on, let's say, JetUp.ai?
I don't know if there's a template. I can explain to you what Forex trading is, or what the Forex market is. The last time I checked, the Forex market is worth something like $5 trillion a day. That's how much is being traded. And it's Forex is short for foreign exchange. So it's the different exchange rates between all of the different currencies of all the different countries around the world. Okay, so for example, let's look at the US dollar against the euro, and it's at a certain price right now. And so you can buy an amount of euro. So if I got this right around, you can buy a certain amount of euro using USD. So in your account, you spend some of your money to buy euro against USD. And if the price of euro goes up against the USD, however far up it goes before you sell, then you've made some profit. So you cash it out, you sell that euro on the other side. It gets very complicated because you're not actually dealing in you don't own the currency pair that you're dealing in. It's something you buy through a broker.
Mhm.
But then what you do is you swap back or get them to swap back the euros into dollars, so that they can then say, well, you started off with this much, you've got this much, therefore you've made this much profit, and that gets added to your account. I won't talk about lot sizes or leverage, but I suppose in a nutshell, that's it. You know, so you can choose from hundreds and hundreds of different currency pairs. You know, there are very obscure ones to do with rubles and Mexican, is it pesos, MXN, Canadian dollars against Australian dollars, and South African rand, and Swiss francs, euros, pounds, yen, dollars. Okay, and so they all have different pairs and different rates, and those rates are constantly changing.
So does this company have a block of pairs that they're working with in terms of trading, or is it open market?
I'd imagine they'd be choosing a fairly large number of different trading pairs. It depends on how their information system is set up. Because even if it's being run by live traders, the live traders will be watching indicators. They'll have all sorts of robots out there scanning the trading world to find certain patterns that they're looking for, and then when the robot finds a pattern, it'll say to the trader, "Have a look at this," and they'll look at that and they go, "Wow, you know, the Bollinger Bands are doing this, the SAR is doing that, the RSI is this, you know, the EMAs are doing that," and they go, "Yeah, I think there's a trade to be had," so they'll place a trade. Now,
Okay.
sometimes that's so clinical that you can actually get a robot to do that bit as well. So we don't know if that's the case. We can find out.
Okay.
So
My last,
sorry, to answer
yeah.
your question, those robots could be checking every single currency pair on the planet, or they could just be limiting their time to the best 50, the most reliable 50, the 50 with the most market capital, the 50 with the greatest volatility, whatever it is they want to look for. Some people like volatility, some people like a lot more stability. They'd rather make 3% per trade than chances are I'm going after 10% per trade or 20% per trade.
Mhm.
But if your strategy is such that you only take trades that are highly volatile, you could easily make 100% in one trade. Some of these currency pairs just all the way up, then all the way down. If you can, I mean, they scare me, to be honest. I tried it with the Mexican peso against something else, and it was back down again. You know, you can make a lot of money, you can lose a lot of money really quickly.
It's called the jumping peso. And my final question is, I didn't catch from Mike. Did he talk to the initial developer or person that started it in Germany?
The CEO.
Yeah, the CEO. How long has this
Yeah,
company been in existence?
Well, Mike said 2.5 years. They've been doing this 2.5 years. So it's probably a
three,
period of time before that they were developing and building and testing and so on. So it's going to be
tag
more than
markets have been going 2.5 years. I don't know
So
how
the,
long JetUp has been going up, but that JetUp is like the community, isn't it? It's the commission side of it, and then Tag Market is a different company again, which is where the trading is. That's my understanding.
okay.
Um, so They have got crypto coming as well on their crypto trading and a crypto card as a bank card, things like that. I noticed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, that would be through Sonic, wouldn't it? Through the actual exchange itself.
yeah.
Also, you can trade metals. Not all metals have a forex pair, but certainly gold, silver, platinum. On some exchanges, copper against the US dollar.
Okay.
Gold against the euro, gold against the pound as well. So, and the thing is as well that you can actually, if you have this all set up, you can go onto your own MT5 platform and place a trade yourself. You don't have to wait for them to do the copy trading. You can actually say, well, I know what I'm doing, or my brother-in-law gave me a good tip. I'm going to put, I'm going to take a small trade on gold against the US dollar, for example, and so you can make money or lose money all on your own. It's not just what the what the system is doing.
So the location is actually it's in Germany as opposed to Far East or something.
I don't know where Sonic is. I don't know where the servers for Sonic are. I'd imagine they've just diversified them a little bit. MT5 itself is diversified. So
Jet2 is based in Dubai.
Oh, Dubai.
JetUp is based in
JetUp.
Dubai.
Okay.
The others are German, but I think it's Mauritius is out of or something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all
Thank you.
these things have to be taken into account. How much control do we actually have over our own money?
That's
So,
the top and bottom.
like we say that exchanges have gone bust before, brokers have gone bust before, insurance companies have gone bust before, banks have gone bust before. So, we've just got to be careful with our evaluation.
Yeah.
Hence, $100.
Yeah. And it could be, we say, well, or you might say, well, the maximum risk I'm going to have with this platform is $10,000. So over a couple of years, you build up your money to become $10,000 worth of trading fund. And then everything over and above that, you take out because you're never going to risk more. You're never going to have more than $10,000 sat in their pocket. Some people will say, well, no, I'm just going to keep compounding my profit, and I want to have 50,000, 100,000. So we've just got
I
to be
like
aware
that.
of.
I like that strategy that you shared the other week. We go up to 3,000, then take 3,000 out, then go up to 5,000, then take the 2,000 out, and do it that way. I thought that was great.
Yes. There's another one I'm using with a particular platform, and that is that I got to a certain level, and then when I make $200, I'm going to take 100 out. Then when I make another $200, I'll take another 100 out. So the account is growing all the time. But to start with, once a week I take $100 out. Then every 6 days I take $100. Then every 5 days I take $100. And eventually I'll be taking out several $100s a day, but the account will still be growing by several $100s a day. So that's just a different thing I'm doing, particularly for that platform because of the way it's structured.
Without using any affiliateship?
No, that's right. That's one that's not suitable for Wealth Warriors. It's just something I'm doing on my own.
Okay.
But that's the other thing, of course. If we don't do this as part of Wealth Warriors, to be honest, I'll probably do this anyway. So it's a case of, do I do this and it becomes part of Wealth Warriors, or do I do it and just anybody who wants to join me can. Or you could say, well, yeah, I want to do it without you. If it's not part of Wealth Warriors, then do what you like. But so really, I think from what I've seen from this, if I get the right answers, I'd be prepared to risk $100 of my money. If I get all the answers I want, then I'd be prepared to promote it to people as well. See, that's really the difference, isn't it? We've got to get the confidence to be able to introduce our friends. If we get that, that's one thing. And if we don't get that, well, it doesn't mean we don't do it ourselves. We just,
Well, Terry is one of those guys.
Yes.
He's willing to put in X amount of dollars, but how long will it take before I double my money? And in our particular case, it was, I think, 58 days. And then he wants to take that money out and leave the earning, earning out and then leave the principal to the next stage, which I
Yes.
think is what I call a short-termer. And that's where I am. I'm a short-term as opposed to a long-termer.
Yes.
And I
Well,
think
the
that's
thing
a
we
good,
talked about on the video with Terry, that's going to be worth him putting some money into that. This, I don't, we need to be, if we're going to say to the guy, well, put $10,000 of your collective money into this, we need to have a lot more answers than we've got right now. We need to have a lot more confidence than we have right now.
Definitely.
right.
Okay, well, I was planning to do 2 platforms this evening. That was kind of an ambitious thing. We've also recorded all the questions and answers in this general discussion on the video. So I'm going to finish the video here, and I'm going to say thank you, people, for watching this to the end. If you did watch it to the end, and if you didn't, I'm not going to thank you. So there we go. And I'm going to do on Wednesday, we're going to do a similar presentation to this one, only we're going to be looking at Node Booster. Node Booster is quite fascinating. It's based on the Avalanche network. The Avalanche network is the oldest network on the planet. And it's kind of related to a platform that I've gotten involved with that's not suitable for wealth warriors. But I much prefer Node Booster. It's a proper business, or we think it's going to be a proper business that we will be able to promote to everybody. So we'll do that on Wednesday, same time, same channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you all then. Until then, God bless and see you again.
Yeah, all of us. Thank you.